When I got the telephone call that I had inflammatory breast cancer, of all kinds of breast cancer, it wasn't just breast cancer, it was the worst you could have. Everything changed. You're immediately thrown into the treatments and told all of the things that are getting ready to happen to you. You're told you need to report to have this surgery, to have a port put in your chest so that you can receive your chemotherapy. You're overwhelmed. I mean, there's no feeling quite like it. It's terrifying. I went through the initial course of treatments, which were the chemotherapy first. I think I was off about 6 months, and that's when I found another symptom and began to realize that the cancer had progressed. I think I was on 4 or 5 different treatments, and they lasted various times. And the last one was a clinical trial that I was on called XL147. And that one was a phase 1 to phase 2 clinical trial. It was very, very toxic to me. I wanted to give up. I was going to quit treatment. That was when they sent me and told me about this drug called TDM1, which at that time, of course, had not become Kadcyla. And they sent me to Sarah Cannon. And that was when it turned my life around. The things that changed for me when I entered the trial was, first of all, I went to a new location, and that was an entirely different dynamic. The nurses, everyone there was very positive, very, very upbeat. They were all looking to heal me. They became advocates for me. They protected my lifestyle very, very guardedly. They knew that I had horses. They knew that I was an avid rider, and so they had to protect that. It began to make me feel a lot more positive. Plus, the TDM1 Kadcyla, which, by the way, over all of my Facebook support groups, I have nicknamed, and it's gone viral. We've called it Godzilla, because nobody could pronounce Kadcyla for so long. First, it was just under control, and then it started to go away. And in December of 2011, Dr. Yardley walked in and said, there's nothing on this scan. And I said, I'm not sure what you mean. And she said that there's no cancer. Not only did it take me to remission, but it made me healthy. Almost immediately, just all of the things that I had that were side effects and symptoms of the horrors that go along with chemotherapies, they all started going away. So physically, I was able to get out and stay out longer, do more. I adopted a unwanted thoroughbred in January, just a few weeks after I started this drug. I had thrown my life away just before that. But in January, I felt so positive about a life ahead of me that I adopted this horse, and my friend, the vet, came out to look at him and do a vet check on him. And I started talking about this horse's future and what I wanted for this horse. And he stopped and he said, look at you. This is the first time in all these years that you've talked about your future. The Kadcyla has actually handed me back my life and then some. One of the most important messages that people need to know when they're diagnosed with cancer is that just because you have cancer, you are not a dead person walking. It's not a death sentence. I had a doctor that actually came into a room. It was filling in for my regular doctor. And she came in and tried to hammer me to force me to tell her and say the words that I was terminally ill. And I refused to do it. You do not have to take that. You do not have to go there. Just because you have cancer, it does not mean that you are going to die, and it does not mean that your life is over by any stretch. In fact, the quality of my life in many, many, many ways has gotten far better than it was prior to my diagnosis. Without clinical research, I'm dead. Without clinical research, my friends are dead. Without clinical research, we can't stop and eradicate a disease. If we don't have clinical research, cancer will beat us, and cancer will beat us all. There are many, many people who are wonderful, wonderful people, authors, teachers, amazing people that will be able to continue to be part of our society and contributing parts of our society because of clinical research. If I was to speak to Congress, I would say, I implore you to find another way to cut. This is not the place. It's not the place.